CBSE Board Economics. I'm Saddam Hussain here. We have been discussing Unit 6, Chapter 2 of the Indian Economic Development. So that is the goals, common goals of 5-year plans during the Indian economy 1950 to 1990. We discussed the goals of the 5-year plans, the 4 goals. One is the growth, one is the equity, one is social justice, one is getting the full employment in the economy. Okay, so one of the most important goals of the 5-year plans is growth. That is the first and the foremost goal of the 5-year plan is growth of the economy. We'll discuss a few points about this objective or the goal of the 5-year plans. We already know that the Indian economy was stagnant during the British rule. No growth was taking place because Indian economy was just a feeder economy. They used to export raw materials to England for development of their industries and import goods from there. As a result, the GDP of the economy was very low. The GDP of the economy was very low, per capita income was very low. There was no growth in the economy. So that's why we set the first goal after the independence, the first and the foremost goal of 5-year plans was growth of the economy. What exactly is growth? Growth means producing more and more goods and services in all the sectors. Let it be agriculture, let it be industrial sector, let it be service sector. There should be growth. We should be able to produce more goods and services in all the sectors. Primary, secondary, tertiary, agriculture sector, industrial sector and service sector. Then only the economy will grow. The GDP of the country will go up. What exactly is GDP? We learnt it in national income accounting. Gross domestic product. Gross domestic product, GDP. GDP is defined as the money value of all final goods and services produced in an economy in an accounting year. The GDP of the economy will go up when we produce more goods and services in the economy. So that is the first and the foremost goal of the 5-year plans. So when the GDP increases, obviously the economy there's a growth has taken place in the economy. When the GDP grows up, obviously there is production of more goods and services. So GDP growth can take place when we produce more goods, maybe in the primary sector, maybe in the secondary, maybe in the tertiary sector, maybe in the agriculture sector, maybe in the industrial sector, maybe in the service sector, any of these sectors. In some economies, the GDP goes up because of more production of agricultural goods. In some economies, the GDP may grow up because of more production of industrial goods. In some economies, the GDP goes up because of more production of service sector. Irrespective of which sector is producing more, GDP will go up. That is an indicator of economic growth. That means that is an indicator of growth is taking place. That's the first major objective of 5-year plans. So let's see here, explain growth of objective of 5-year plans. Growth refers to increase in the country's capacity to produce the output of goods and services within the country. Growth refers to production of more goods and services within the country. A good indicator of economic growth is increase in GDP. When do we say there is a growth taking place in the economy? What is the indicator? What are the parameters for this? Is simple logic: GDP, gross domestic product. GDP is defined as gross money value of all final goods and services produced in an economy in an accounting year. If GDP is going up, that means the growth is taking place. That means indirectly it refers that the production of goods and services is going up. The GDP of a country is derived from different sectors. Maybe agricultural sector, maybe industrial sector, and maybe service sector. In some countries, growth in agriculture contributes more to the GDP growth, while in some countries, growth in service sector contributes more to GDP growth. So I told you once, I've already told you, during the British time, during the British regime, or during the British towards 200 rule in India, India was just a colony. They used to export raw materials to England and import goods. So hence economy, there was no growth taking place. There was no growth in industrial sector, there was no growth in agriculture sector, there was no growth in service sector. So that's why after we got the independence, so we set the 5-year plans. What are the most important goal of the 5-year plan was growth of the economy. Growth means production of more goods and services. Let it be in agriculture sector, let it be in service sector or industrial sector. So that's very important. This some countries, what is the indicator of growth of an economy? That is GDP. GDP is defined as gross money value of all final goods and services produced in an economy in an accounting year. In some countries, the GDP may go up because of increase in agriculture. In some countries, the GDP may go up because of increase in service sector. In some countries, increase in industrial sector. It is immaterial which sector is contributing to the growth, but the economy should grow. Growth. The stagnation during the British rule forced the planners to make economic growth as the first and foremost objective of Indian plans. Growth refers to increase in the country's capacity to produce the output of goods and services within the country. Growth implies either a larger stock of productive capital or a larger size of supporting services like transport. It can be increase in transport and banking or increase in efficiency of productive capital and services. The growth can take place in any sector. It can be banking, it can be transportation, it can be service, it can be agriculture, it can be industries. A good indicator of economic growth is steady increase in gross domestic product, GDP. GDP refers to the market value of all final goods and services produced in the country during a period of 1 year. Increase in GDP or availability of goods and services enables people to enjoy a more rich and varied life. The GDP of a country is derived from different sectors, such as agricultural sector, industrial sector, and service sector of the economy. In some countries, growth in agriculture contributes more to the GDP growth, while in some countries, growth in service sector contributes more to GDP growth. So we conclude once again, the first and the foremost objective of the 5-year plans, the first goal of the 5-year plan was growth. Growth in any sector, let it be agriculture, let it be secondary, tertiary sector, let it be agriculture, industrial sector or service sector. The good indicator of the growth of the economy is gross domestic product. If GDP is increasing, that means there is a growth taking place, there is more production of goods and services. In some countries, the GDP goes up because of increased agriculture produce. In some countries, it can go up because of industrial produce. It can be, in some countries, in terms of service sector. That's the growth objective of the economy, or the 5-year plans. That's all we have time for today. Till we meet next time, goodbye from Saddam Hussein. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and like our videos. Till we meet next time, keep smiling. Bye-bye.